Netflix is scheduled to report third quarter earnings results after the stock markets close on October 21st, 2025. And investors are asking me if they should buy Netflix stock before the company announces those earnings. Because as you might already know, earnings results after the earnings results tends to be a volatile time for a stock price where it could jump by 20, 30, 40, 50% or fall by the same amounts or even more. So investors like to know that so they can time their purchase either before or after. So on July 17th, 2025, when Netflix last updated investors, they beat and raised their guidance for the year. They now forecast 2025 revenue in the range of 44.8 to 45.2 billion. That's up from their previous estimate of 44 billion at the midpoint. So the midpoint of the guidance was increased by roughly 1 billion. The company's operating margin is also expected to come in better than expected at 29.5% versus 29% previously estimated for 2025. Zooming out a little bit, the fact that Netflix is already generating operating profit margins around 30% is remarkable. It's something that many investors in the media industry, in the content industry, were concerned about before this transition fully took momentum, right? If you're thinking about, let's say, 2017, right? And we're looking at the dynamics around streaming content versus cable and satellite subscriptions, the biggest fear investors had was if we switch to this fully streaming model, that the operating margins industry-wide would be much lower. And there are several reasons for that. One of which is that it's so much easier to cancel your streaming subscription versus, when you had a cable, if you remember, if some of you had a cable or direct TV subscription, you had these complicated contracts where you had to sign a 2-year deal in order to get them to come over and install and get you on a monthly plan, which then increases after a year or after 2 years. You signed these very complicated contracts. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why people are so much more interested in streaming content versus, a cable or satellite subscription, is because it's so much easier. One click and you're online. One click and you have a subscription versus, when you want a direct TV or cable, you got to have an installer come over. Click the link below to watch the full video.